Terence McKenna described machine elves as entities that one sometimes encounters while consuming hallucinogens. I have never taken recreational mind-expanding drugs, but I experienced these elves as a young boy. I came down with scarlet fever and strep throat at the same time, and I only had a 50% chance of surviving this illness. I did not realize how close I came to death until I returned to school, and when I walked through the door, my teacher was shocked to see me. She said, "You're still alive." My machine elves were the result of a brain fever. I experienced Alice in Wonderland syndrome, also called desmetropsia. This condition produces distortions in perception, where objects are closer, farther away, bigger, or smaller than they really are. In my case, I experienced all four states at the same time. A doorknob would be as big as a house and on the other side of the universe at the same time. As is sometimes described, I felt like I was intruding on my machine elves. They were busy with their hands and looked up to see me. They were aware that I could see them when I was not supposed to be able to see them. One walked over to stare at me in bed, and he was very perturbed. I believe this glimpse behind the curtain was in some sense a peek into the operating system of autism. First, there was the gaze of the other, where I made unsettling eye contact with these creatures. Eye contact is not allowed. Secondly, these creatures were working furiously over machinery, as if nothing else existed in their universe. Lastly, their being disturbed by my presence is something common to autistic children. Autistics do not like being interrupted while they're doing their thing. In my case, I've never liked being watched. Now, I do not want to trivialize these creatures. My autistic analogy can be true, yet it may only be a surface appearance that lurks beneath our shared metaphysical reality. I continued to experience Alice in Wonderland syndrome for years after my illness, particularly in moments just before falling asleep. I also experienced hallucinogenic imagery, such as geometric and fractal patterns, strange music, etc. My love of monsters carried over from these encounters into my art as a boy, and then into art school and beyond. My last trip was the first time I took mirtazapine. I spent several days in a psych ward after a bad withdrawal from amitriptyline around 2016. I lost the ability to fall asleep, so the first time I took mirtazapine, I could literally feel the pineal gland in my brain explode. Serotonin and melatonin came floating out like seeds. These seeds became green sickle-shaped leaves before forming geometric patterns. They then became beater brushes in a nature walk car wash. When I emerged on the other side of this shrub, I was in a sun-drenched day-glow park filled with happy, picnicking families. I slept for 15 hours that night and spent many hours in vivid REM sleep, going on happy adventures with my deceased father. In some of these dreams, I was building stuff with my dad.